Hello again. Electricity can be generated in various ways. So to understand how is this electricity are generated, let's take a look at the sources of energy first. Talking about energy sources, there are two types of energy sources. They are called as renewable energy and non-renewable energy. So what are these two types of energy sources means? Renewable energy refers to a sources which is constantly being replenished as we use it, while a non-renewable energy sources is a sources which cannot be replenished when it has been used up. Means once it finished, forever vanish. Okay? So let's take a look at this table. We have a few examples of energy sources here in which we have to categorize them under renewable and non-renewable energy sources. So are you ready? First, we have renewable energy. So from this example, can you think which one is called as a renewable energy? Yes, first we have biomass, then it's geothermal, then hydroelectric, followed by wave or tidal, and then we have wind energy. While for the non-renewable energy, they are consist of coal, natural gas, nuclear energy, and petroleum. Okay? So we have completed the table for renewable and non-renewable energy. Alright, so we have categorized the energy sources into renewable and non-renewable energy. So now let's take a look how all these sources are manipulated in producing the electricity. First, electricity is generated at a place called a power plant. Okay? And all power plant except solar power plant have the same final mechanism to produce electricity, which is through electromagnetic induction. So let's take a look at all these power plant and how they works. First is biomass. So this is an example or a diagram shows a biomass power plant. Biomass produces biofuel such as methane. And the burning of this biofuel will create a heat energy that turns the water into steam. And this steam later will use to rotate the turbine blades which generate electricity. And this chart shows the energy changes occur in the biomass power plant. From chemical energy convert to thermal energy to kinetic energy, and finally electrical energy are produced. So what are the pros of using this power plant? First, it is a cheap source of energy. The availability of biomass is high and a low technology requirements plus renewable sources of energy. How about the adverse or the disadvantages? They need a specific area to store the biomass. Number 2, it is an untrusted technology, untrusted environment impact, and also insufficient for high density population. Okay, then the second power plant is coal power plant. Burning coal creates heat energy that turns the water into steam at a high pressure and temperature, and the steam will rotate the turbine blades that generate electricity. Again, this is the conversion of energy occurs at the coal power plant from chemical energy where finally convert into electrical energy. Okay, so the advantages of this plant, first, they are abundant availability in some areas, and they are a tested technology and available storage and distribution network. While the disadvantages are, it gives a highest environmental impact and causes an air, land, and water pollution. Emit highest level of carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, and toxic waste compared to all natural gas or renewable energy. And it requires a large visible pile of coals. It affects human health And also, some coal mines have a very poor safety record. Okay. Next, natural gas power plant. Okay, burning of natural gas creates heat energy that turns the water into steam at high pressure and temperature. And this steam rotates the turbine blades that generate the electricity. Again, from chemical energy, we finally convert into electrical energy. So the pros of this type of power plant, it emits lower carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide compared to oil or coal. Second, it emits much lower sulfur dioxide gas, particulates, and mercury emission compared to oil or coal. While the disadvantages are carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide, which emit when burned, they will pollute the environment and also dangerous or cause harmful to human health. Okay? Since this carbon monoxide will reduce the ability of our red blood cell to carry oxygen, so it can cause anemia at a severe level. Next, it also causes an environmental impact of hydraulic fracking, and it seems to be associated with geophysical instabilities which can cause an earthquake. Okay, next we have geothermal power plant. In geothermal power plant, the heat are collected and channeled from the earth used to turn the water into steam, where it used to rotate the blades and induce electricity. The changes of energy are from thermal energy into kinetic into electrical energy. And the advantages of this type of plant, it causes no pollution, use a direct heat to turn the turbines, and somehow it is called as a virtually renewable sources. While the disadvantages are an exploitable location are very limited and only a few existing plants globally. It generates a very limited amount of power, and somehow the long-range distribution are said to be costly, while a direct use for transport vehicle with internal combustion or fuel cell engines are not possible. Hydroelectric power plant. This type of power plant said to be the cheapest way to generate electricity. In hydroelectric power plant, the water is stored at a place called a dam. Can you name a few dams in Malaysia? We have Buda Dam in Kedah, Kemubu Dam in Kelantan, and Baku Dam in Sarawak. Okay? The water that's stored at the dam flow from the high level to the low level according to the pressure difference. The water rotates the turbine blades and induce electricity. Changes of energy are from gravitational potential energy into kinetic into electrical energy. Advantages of this plant, they cause no pollution, it is a renewable sources of energy, non-intermittent generation of power, and controllable power output through valve. While it has a few disadvantages. First, most available locations are already used, and it causes a disruption to the existing ecological system, while the location of the dam can be very far from a large cities. Nuclear power plant. In nuclear power plant, nuclear sources such as uranium-235 undergoes nuclear fission. This process occurs inside the nuclear reactor, and it produces such as enormous energy which used to heat the water and generate steam. And this steam is used to rotate the turbine blade and induce electricity. And the conversion of energy is from nuclear energy convert into thermal, convert into kinetic, and finally into electrical energy. So the advantages of this type of plant, it requires a small amount of nuclear sources, but in the end produce a very huge amount of electrical energy, enough to supply to a big cities. and it discharges a very minimum pollutants to the environment compared to the fossil fuel. While vast reserve of nuclear fuel and the nuclear powered reactors can be used to produce useful radioisotopes. These radioisotopes later can be used in various fields. While talking about the disadvantages, the nuclear reactor accidents can cause the leakage of large amount of harmful radioactive substances to be released to the environment. And the nuclear fuel from the nuclear power station can be enriched and used as a weapon of mass destruction. A harmful, highly radioactive waste are difficult to expose in the most satisfactory ways. While political problems concerning the dangers of uranium enrichment and plutonium production, plus high cost of designing and building of nuclear power station are required. Okay, then we go to the petroleum power plant. Petroleum which dig from deep down the seabed are burned in the gasifier will generate heat and used to convert water into steam, where the steam again rotates the turbine blade and generates electricity. The conversion of energy is from chemical energy, convert into thermal energy, into kinetic energy, and finally into electrical energy. Advantages: petroleum is easy to use and easy to be stored, while a widespread use in internal combustion engine. Easy transportation to the location where it is needed. The disadvantages are: it discharges harmful gases to the environment which may lead to air pollution and acid rain. And the problems of supply of petroleum can cause conflicts and political instabilities. Okay, now let's move to wave or tidal power plant. Normally, these plants are built nearby the seaside where the water flow due to tide rotate the turbine blade, and it generates electricity from the magnetic induction. Conversion of energy is potential and kinetic energy, convert to kinetic energy, convert into electrical energy. Advantages: it is a renewable sources of energy, give low impact to the environment and no impact to health. So far, higher energy densities compared to solar and wind, and the tides can be predicted. While the disadvantages are: a maintenance cost due to corrosion is high, and somehow unpredictable wave can be occur, and this is a new technology, so more research need to be conducted. And the last type of power plant is wind power plant. Okay, the wind that flow rotate the turbine blade which generate electricity. So conversion of energy, kinetic energy, convert into electrical energy. Advantages of wind power plant: it is a renewable energy, low impact to the environment, plus no impact on health. A wind farm are widespread and the technology is proven and somehow improving day by day. It can power most of our energy need, and somehow the wind are free. While the disadvantages are: due to its relative low power density, they are not able to be supplied to the area with a high demanding power, such as in the big cities, and somehow unpredictable intermittent power production. So it seems that we have come to the end of this lesson. And before I say goodbye, let us do some of the checking on what are the things you should achieve after following this lesson. Number 1, energy is never created or destroyed, but it is constantly being converted from one form to another. Second, some energy sources are renewable, which they are constantly being replenished, while others are non-renewable. cannot be replenished once it has been used up. Number 3, for the production of electrical power, the final stage always involves the spinning of a coil in the magnetic field to generate alternating current by electromagnetic induction. And the exception is solar power, which directly converts a photon energy into electricity. And last but not least, energy used to produce electricity are thermal energy, gravitational potential energy, nuclear energy, kinetic energy, and chemical energy. Okay, students, so join me again in the next lesson for more details on generation and transmission of electricity. Till then, thank you for watching and have a great day. Bye!